Wormon! I need a haircut. Even though my hair is balding. I'm not gonna talk about Digimon again. This time. I promise. So why are you even in this? I'm gonna talk about Final Fantasy Advent Children. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. I know fucking nothing about Final Fantasy. Couldn't you tell by not even knowing the name of what I'm talking about? But it gives me intense nostalgia when I watch it because it came out in like 2005 when I was about to graduate high school or the year before. I don't even know when it gave me what era I'm getting nostalgia for. I couldn't even fucking say that right. But like the disclaimer said, provided I edit it in, I know fuck all about this movie, but I'm going to be talking about it from the standpoint of somebody who knows fuck all about it. Wormon! I gotta keep this short, so I'm gonna stop fucking recapping the entire plot of everything I review. I don't even know why I do that. But basically, I hope the frame rate's okay in this record. Shut up! There's some jerks that show up and want Genova's head, because I guess they're part of Sephiroth. There's some kind of remnants of him. They look kind of like him. And the Shinra president's all like, you can't have that head. Because he knows they're about to like try and do some shit with it. And they talk about reunion with Sephiroth and foreshadow that. And they attack the Turks because Shinra is also looking for it. Because, by the way, the whole fucking planet is being affected with geostigma. Well, the people on it. Because the planet is the one that's kind of infecting them. Maybe? I don't know. I'll get to that. So Shinra wants Genova's head so that they can maybe find a cure for this shit or find out what's going on. While these jerks that look kind of like baby Sephiroths. What are their names? Kadaj. I gotta look this shit up because I fucking know nothing about anything. Oh, Laz and Yazoo. Which one's which? They're both fucking weird. It doesn't matter. Where even was I? Shinra's looking for the head. These three jerks are looking for the head. The leader is Kadaj, and they end up like kidnapping all the children that are infected with geostigma, which is this thing that I already said what that was, I think. But they claim they want to like bring everyone together that has geostigma in them because it's Genova and it's linking everyone because they're also part Genova somehow. But really, I think they're using them as like a meat shield later on because they're looking for the head and they break a monument to Shinra that they think is got it, and it doesn't. Good summary so far. Like, they run into Cloud a couple times. I mean, their big encounter... They have a big encounter with him on motorcycles, and they summon a bunch of shit to attack him, and two of them are fighting him while Kadaj is calling the president to inquire about Genova's head. He's like, hey, you got Genova's head? And the president's like, no. No, I don't. Later you find out he does. And like Shinra tries to call Cloud, Rufus Shinra tries to call Cloud and is like, hey, can you help us with these three? We think they're up to some bad shit, possibly involving Sephiroth. Cloud's like, fuck no, and just leaves. And then that allows them to kidnap him. Rufus, not Cloud. And then the other two, well, I guess Kadaj kidnaps Rufus, and the other two kidnap the children I was talking about. And then, like, at some point, they go to the Forgotten City with them, and Kadaj, like, steps into the water there and poisons it with, like, negative life stream or some shit, and has them drink it, and that puts them basically under his control. Oh, yeah, and also, one of them, the weird one, I think Laz, fights Tifa and takes Marlene, because Marlene and Tifa are trying to find out, like, where the fuck Cloud is.
What is Cloud doing?
Beats me.
Because he got really distant for a while. Because he has geostigma, and he took off. And he's basically traveling around turning down Shinra presidents and fighting Sephiroth-looking jerks. And they want to, like, meet up with him or something. So Laz fights Tifa, ends up taking Marlene, and he steals the materia that Cloud had, because did I mention it was in the church that Aerith was at? Had that flower bed in? What the fuck? I know nothing about this. But Cloud's like living in that church, and he has a big stash of materia, which Laz takes, and that becomes important later a couple times. So then, eventually Cloud like tries to get to the Lost City with the children there, gets in a cool fight with the 3 jerks, and loses. And then Vincent shows up and is like, stop it, and saves Cloud, and kind of gets to Cloud. Well, because Cloud is all guilty about Zack and Aerith's deaths still. Because this is 2 years after Final Fantasy VII, and he's like distancing himself, and he's kind of waiting for Geostigma to kill him. And then he asks Vincent about like trying to move on from mistakes or get over the guilt. The funny thing is, Vincent is like the turning point for Cloud. I was calling him, I don't know him like that. Vincent says, I've never tried to get over my mistakes. I just don't fucking worry about them. And then that makes Cloud think, oh, well, why don't I just try? Instead of you beating myself up and letting this weird-ass disease kill me. And also Aerith talks to him on his way to the forest and is like, stop feeling guilty about our deaths. You didn't fucking do anything. How could you have gotten to me in time to stop Sephiroth? I was doing stuff on my own. And he's Sephiroth. Fucking does what he wants. He's like 5 Darth Vaders taped together. Oh yeah, but anyway. So when the 3 have those children surround that monument and break it open to look for Jenova's head, they use a fucking Bahamut. Bahamen. They use the Bahamen to blast it open. And then there's this awesome fight that ensues where the cast of Final Fantasy VII, like the surviving ones, start reuniting and coming together because they've kind of been trying to contact Cloud, you find out. And there's just this cool moment where they're all helping Cloud get up through this like construction building thing. And even Aerith helps at the end. And he kills the Bahamen and then chases the dude looking for Jenova's head. Because he finds out the president had it, like I said. And he chases him, and then the other 2 jerks chase Cloud, and there's like a fight with the 3 of them. Or something. And Reno and Root are in it, kind of helping fight the bad guys. And they basically suicide bomb the 2 Sephiroth light jerks that aren't Kadaj. Don't worry, they survive. Somehow, they just can do that. Kind of happens in the remake, too, of 7. Not the sequel to the But that leads to Cloud fighting fucking Kadaj Sephirothman himself. And they end up in the church, actually, which by this point, like, everybody keeps fighting in the church and fucking up the flower beds. Flower bed? There's one. Do you even know anything? No. And Aerith, like, summons a water... kind of a waterbed thing within the flowers that Cloud gets into, and it heals his Geostigma. So that kind of cleans him up and helps him, and he fights Kadaj, who then, like the whole time, he has Jenova's head that he got from the president. I can't fucking remember a minute ago, let alone whether or not I even said that already. But Kadaj has it! Look at my tricep meat. And he merges with it after he jumps off a building, or gets knocked off. A little fuzzy on everything. Surprise! And this causes him to become Sephiroth!
What is Cloud doing?
And then there's this awesome fight with Cloud, and eventually Cloud kind of just wins. And then Aerith uses healing powers to make rain, and they take the kids into the waterbed at the church to heal more people with Geostigma. And Cloud learns to move on, and actually try to get over the deaths of his friends and his past. It's just, the whole time he was kind of being a jerk and distancing himself because of his guilt. And then he stops. Because he wants to try and move forward with them. The end. It's been 11 fucking minutes? This is gonna be a long ass video. But I get to like, now, what I liked about the movie is what I wanted to talk about. Well, how about I just try that? The movie has like great animation. It's from 2005, and I'm assuming they started working on it before that. It was around the time Square Enix was becoming Squeenix. Square and Enix hadn't quite fused when Nomura wanted to make this movie. But then they did, and he developed it, and it came out in 2005, and it still looks good. It looks a lot like the Final Fantasy VII Remake, although that's not really the best of the best. Another delayed Nomura project. Doesn't quite look like it's been... Fighting's well done. Sometimes it's hard to follow, but it's really well done. Like, the action is fast, it's really well paced. It's almost all there is to it with this movie. And like, two fights that stand out are Cloud fighting the three jerks in the Forgotten City when he's trying to rescue the kids. There's a lot of like synergy between three in general and in this fight. And he's like fighting with two swords and stuff. There's fights on motorcycles that were cool too. Those don't stand out at all. And the fight with Sephiroth is just great. They're like jumping around the ruins of Midgar and Shinra and cutting shit up. The ending's a little poopy, but I'll get to that. The Bahamut scene was great, because like I mentioned, all the surviving main cast kind of come together to beat it. And like Aerith is... They're throwing Cloud up into the air and helping him like propel himself and stay in the air while the Bahamut are flying up. And then Aerith is like the final push. She like shows up in a flash, kind of in his mind, but actually there too somehow. It throws him, or like he flies into the I don't know, she powers him up. Oh yeah, because he was inside the Bahaman's energy ball they blasted. And while in there, Aerith was able to appear to him and kind of power him up and give him the final push. So he kills them, drops back down. Which, question, why is everybody able to drop like a 400 fucking feet, but nobody will jump off a fucking short little drop in the remake game? And there's all kinds of jumps and shit they do. Then you gotta find ladders and shit in the game? Well, that's 2 years later, in an alternate timeline, technically, bitch.